Good evening, many thanks for joining us. It's News Hour live here on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Emmanuel Amagashi.
And my name is Evans Echampong. Now to our first story. A sensitization seminar for traditional authorities and community leaders on land-based investments in Africa has been held in Accra. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Ni Osam Mills, said the economic prospects of a nation in a developing world are closely linked to its natural resources and must be properly managed.
Ghana has a land area of 23 million hectares, about 95% of which is arable. Agriculture contributes to 36% of GDP. The mining, construction and real estate sectors requires the use and development of land more than any other sector of the economy. Close to 80% of land ownership in Ghana is in the customary sector. It is for this reason that traditional leaders as well as representatives from parts of Africa were roped in to participate in the Land Policy Forum to enable them appreciate and understand the possible impact of their grant of large tracts of land for investments on their subjects and community. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Ni Osam Mills, hinted that Cabinet is working on a bill for land use in Ghana.
Customary land secretariats are being established and encouraged and supported by my ministry to enable customary landowners to have proper administrative structures to manage their lands. Currently, about 87 of such secretariats have been created, and there is a demand for more. The point being this: the traditional authorities, yourselves, should always have a close link with the community and your subjects. In addition, rural farmers are being supported through the rural parcel rights demarcation to have their farm boundaries demarcated as a prelude to registering their interests.
The minister reiterated that initiatives being implemented by the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources are timely and appropriate as they are designed to address the myriad of challenges and constraints associated with land management and development, including large-scale land-based investments. The forum brought together renowned experts and institutions to dialogue and share ideas and best practices to improve Africa's voice and representation in land governance.
In other news, the flag bearer of the Progressive People's Party, Dr. Papa Kwesi says, if elected in the 2016 election, his government would provide an accelerated development based on incorruptible leadership. He said free, continuous, compulsory education to the senior high school would be implemented to make the minimum requirement for a job. Dr. Papa Kwesi also intends to implement constitutional reforms to elect MMDCEs, separate the executive from the legislature, and pass the Right to Information Bill. This was when he took his turn on the GBC Style Ghana Presidential Encounter 2016.
We will separate the position, the offices of Ministry of Justice from that of the Attorney General so that we can fight corruption without the problem and without the encumbrance of partisan politics. And we will also ensure that indeed, members of parliament will not become ministers of state any longer. So we bring real separation of responsibility and powers between the executive, the presidency, the legislature, parliament, and the judiciary. And then, no matter what, we will ensure that the Right to Information Bill is passed to bring transparency in our governance. And when we talk about a PPP administration, there will not be any more than 40 ministers of state. That's it. Not more than 40. And there will not be any regional minister position any longer. And we will rely on an efficient civil service to support our administration. We are the ones talking about not just universal education, but we are talking about free, continuous, compulsory education all the way from kindergarten, KG1, throughout, continuous, no stopping, no BECE, all the way to the end of senior high school. And every child will go, wherever you come from, whether you have a disability, whoever you are, we will make sure you go to school. And I want Ghanaians to pay attention to the word compulsory. Nobody talks about compulsory, not NDC, not MPP, but the Progressive People's Party, because compulsory is important. It is what makes it necessary for an administration to make sure that we build the schools, we train teachers, we encourage everybody to go to school. And so that when there are good jobs in Ghana, that every child will get a decent job with decent pay.
And on the same program, Dr. Papakwesi Indum also promised to form an all-inclusive government based on competence. He would also ensure discipline in the system by implementing a national identification data system.
The PPP seeks the opportunity to implement an efficient agenda for accelerated development through incorruptible leadership, education, healthcare, and jobs. When it comes to agriculture, we are not talking just about providing inputs here and there. We want to provide a market in Ghana for our farmers. So just as American farmers are given subsidies, they are helped by the administration, that an American farmer can buy a house, can buy a car, have money in the bank, so will the PPP administration ensure that our farmers have a market right here in Ghana, relying on the state's purchasing power. When it comes to energy, we will not lie to Ghanaians. We will be straight with Ghanaians and let Ghanaians know VRA has competence, ECG has competence. What is killing the energy sector is government's own inability to pay its bills. We talk about domestic enterprise, and it is non-negotiable that we want Ghanaians to be in the forefront of economic development, of industry in Ghana. So we'll support our own. We'll support our own. And we are unique also in bringing a women's enterprise development fund to ensure that the women who make up the majority of people in Ghana, that our women are given technical support, financial support in order for them to pursue their dreams. And then technology, the application of technology throughout this nation. And there's a very, very simple thing in Ghana that we are not taking advantage of. That is a national identification system, which if we take care of it, we fund it, which the PPP will, we create an avenue for discipline in our society. So somebody doesn't go get a driver's license, go cause an accident, and then go and get another one. Or someone doesn't go to a bank, get a loan from bank A, don't pay, go to bank B, don't pay, and still mess up the system. Under a PPP administration, we will stop importing rice into this country. Go to Rara in the Volta region, and you will find that there is a rice mill refurbished, working, now serving 5,000 farmers. We are building another rice mill in Asinbreku, and the produce, the output is excellent. Excellent, nutritious rice made in Ghana. And we believe that in the 4 years, we will put at least 1 million people to work with rice mills all over the country. In 4 years, $1.2 billion will stay right here in Ghana to help fund our development, and our rice farmers will have good money in their pockets and be prosperous. We know Ghanaians like sports, but we're not just talking soccer or football. We will develop a 10-year program to train and develop Olympic champions, but on a 10-year program, considered program, financed program throughout the country, starting with young people from kindergarten all the way up. And thankfully, the people have the opportunity this year to vote for inclusiveness, to vote for peace, to vote for unity, to vote for incorruptible leadership, and to vote for competence that is based on practical experience by voting the Progressive People's Party and Papa Kwesi Indum.
Watching News Hour live on GBC24 and GTV. Moving on, the prayer director of Aglo International, Mrs. Gifty Afenyi-Dadse, has cautioned the mass media to play its gatekeeping role very well to ensure peace during the election period. She advised the media not to propagate rumors. Mrs. Gifty Afenyi-Dadse made these comments in Accra at a pre-election intercessory prayers for Ghana dubbed Onyaminti Ghana Bedin Kunim.
Aglo International is a Christian organization that offers intercessory prayers for Ghana. The media plays a major role in every country's democratic process and becomes more crucial during an election period. Aglo Women's International organized the monthly intercessory prayers to pray for the media. Mrs. Gifty Afenyi-Dadse also cautioned against using social media to misinform the public.
In the quest for stories, let them be very ethical and professional.
The November intercessory prayers is symbolic as it becomes the last prayer session organized before the elections. Present for the prayers was the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Madam Charlotte Osei. Prayers were said for her and the entire nation.
May God help you.
Amen.
That at the end of it all,
Amen.
it shall be said,
Amen.
this election,
Yes, Lord.
the choice has been made by Jehovah.
Amen.
In the name of Jesus,
Jesus'
there will be no bloodshed.
No.
In Jesus' name.
Mrs. Charlotte Osei later prayed for peaceful election, asking God to choose the right leader for the country.
Amen.
As your daughters,
Yes, Lord.
as mothers in the land,
Amen.
as sisters in the land,
Amen.
we have humbled ourselves, Father,
Yes, Lord.
and we ask that, Father, heal our land.
Amen. Heal our land.
Father, heal our land.
Amen.
Father, we lift this country before you.
Yes, Lord.
We speak peace into Ghana.
Amen.
Father, we calm every storm in the name of
Jesus'
Jesus.
name.
Prayers were said for the judiciary, legislature and executive and all who are indirectly involved in the December polls. The program ended with a praise and worship session to thank God for his protection.
The Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Deborah, has challenged Ghanaian youth to accept entrepreneurship as the most sustainable employment opportunity available for their economic empowerment. To be able to successfully venture into self-employment, however, requires self-belief, positive thinking, creativity, and innovation. Mr. Deborah was addressing hundreds of youth at a job summit in Kumasi.
The Job Summit is a move by government to galvanize the youth to explore and take advantage of the job avenues created by the government across the country. The participants included students, the unemployed, as well as beneficiaries of some modules of the Youth Employment Agency. A presidential staffer, Ms. Emilia Arthur, took them through the missions of agencies such as the Youth Enterprise Support Program YES, Opportunities Industrialization Center, National Vocational Training Institute, Integrated Community Center for Employable Skills, Rural Enterprises Program, and the Youth in Agriculture Program. According to her, these agencies are either providing the youth with employable skills or providing them with financial and technical assistance to start up or expand their businesses. The Deputy Minister for Communications, Mr. Atusapo, informed the participants that the next term of the NDC government will focus on job creation, and what is important is for each unemployed young person to add value to him or herself to take advantage of the opportunities created through various initiatives and interventions. The Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, urged the youth to defy the odds and start businesses on their own.
Ena assembly account brofum said, he who fears smaller beginning shall never live to see bigger endings. It is a one thing, and never start and what all come, what all die, and possible. As I said, we started the Kakra, it is a did be a buyer day, a chef, now or one day, I told Superguso, no 50. If you are not sure the Avam will be answered a day, I bet you.
We stay a while longer in Kumasi. A government delegation led by the Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Deborah, has visited the Menchia Palace to commiserate with the Asante Otumfuo to the Asante Mine Traditional Council and the Asante Mine at large on the death of the Asante Hima, Nana Ifuasewa Kobiampem, who passed on last Monday.
The late Nana Ifia Kobi-Sewa Mpem succeeded Nana Sewa Nyaku in 1977 as the 13th Asante Hima and reigned for 39 years. She is the biological mother of the current occupant of the golden stool, Otumfuo. She transitioned to her ancestral world at a prime age of 111 years. The government delegation was led by the Chief of Staff, Mr. Julius Deborah, including the current and former Ashanti regional ministers, Mr. John Alexander Akon and Mr. Daniel Ohene Ejekum, the deputy regional minister, Mr. Andy Osei Okra. The traditional one-week observance of the death of the Asante Hima will be observed on Thursday, the 24th of this month, during which arrangements for the burial and final funeral rite will be announced. Announcing the decision at a news conference in Kumasi, a member of the campaign team, Mr. Daniel Ohene Ejekum, explained that the decision to suspend the campaign is to show respect to the late Asante Hima.
Ayagini said, "Ye bian, day, a big guy. Na ye Asante Mine, and so Ageni, near say ye na send a bear as an amabati as ye nunti. See any mushia, we are as a mutated. Ye campaign you, ye dear bay you, ye judge the dear. Anunti niye ka ani se yema Asante Mine dakna yemamumdie eni amanihunu.
Meanwhile, the Menchia Palace has announced ban on funeral rites throughout Asante Mine until the burial and final funeral rite of the late Asante Hima are performed. However, political, religious and other social activities can take place, but without drumming and noise making. Menchia has warned to deal with anyone or group that flout the directive.
The global community is today observing World Toilet Day. The theme for the day is toilets and jobs, focusing on how sanitation or the lack of it can impact people's livelihoods. Sustainable Development Goal 6 calls on the international community to ensure access to toilets by 2030. The UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon says he is taking action to reach the greater population living without a toilet. The World Health Organization (WHO) in its report last year revealed that about 2.4 billion people live without improved sanitation. The report again said 1 in 10 people has no choice but to defecate in the open. The Sustainable Development Goals launched last year include a target to ensure everyone, everywhere, has access to toilets by 2030. Health experts say toilets play a crucial role in creating a strong economy as well as improving health and protecting people's safety and dignity, particularly women and girls. The UN and its partners are propagating the need to have toilet facilities in every home to help save lives, increase productivity, create jobs, and grow economies.
In a related story, Ghana today joined the rest of the world to commemorate this year's World Toilet Day, a day set aside to educate people on the need to acquire toilets while creating jobs for sanitation companies. The Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands says it will continue to support Ghana with both financial and technical services to improve upon sanitation in the country.
The World Toilet Day is celebrated annually to create awareness on the need for decent toilets in every household. This year, the event was commemorated by Water and Sanitation for the Urban Poor, a non-profit organization in collaboration with the Embassy of the Kingdom of the Netherlands under the theme, We Work for Toilets. The day witnessed the participation of various stakeholders, including municipal assemblies, corporate and non-governmental organizations, and students. The Netherlands ambassador to Ghana, Rom Stryker, says the Netherlands will continue to provide sanitation services to the rest of the world, including Ghana.
It's one of the pillars of our cooperation with Ghana, and therefore we have decided to organize events together with the help of course of the friends of Ghana. We will be able to make sure that in 2030 everybody has sufficient access to toilets.
King of Azonto, Gas Miller, was at the event to perform and to encourage Ghanaians to build toilets in their homes. Various arts exhibitions on open defecation were on display.
It's still News Hour. We take a break here. We'll be back with business.
Now, colleges of education. I must say that the cut-in quota system helped me in gaining admission after several attempts in the year 2015.
When allowance was in session, few people were admitted into colleges of education. But with the introduction of the student loan, several people now gain admission into the colleges of education, including myself. With this, there will be enough teachers on the field to train our future leaders.
The introduction of the Student Loan Trust Fund has helped me and other colleagues of mine, and also the introduction of the feeding grant has reduced the cost of our fees to minimal. Therefore, the decision to replace the allowance with the accessible student loan is a wise and a bold decision.
So, vote massively for John Dramani Mahama, JM Swasu.
Our strength in unity.
All Ghanaians get involved and vote in the 2016 elections to choose your president and your parliamentarians.
The Electoral Commission of Ghana invites all registered Ghanaian voters to go to the polling station where you registered or to where you transferred your vote to vote in the 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections on Wednesday, 7th December 2016 from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Remember to take along your voter's ID card at the polling station. Join the queue and wait patiently for your turn. Preferential treatment will be given to the vulnerable and people with disability. When it gets to your turn, hand your voter's ID card over to the EC official at the first table, who will check the little finger of your left hand to make sure you have not voted already. Who will then check your name in the register. Your finger will be placed on a biometric device to verify your identity to indicate that you are cleared to vote. If the device fails after several attempts to verify you as a person on the register, you will be taken through a manual verification process. At the next table, you will dip the little finger on your left hand into indelible ink. Next, you will proceed to take the first ballot paper, which is the presidential ballot paper. Be careful not to touch the ballot paper with your stained finger. Your ballot paper will be rejected if it is soiled with indelible ink. Before the EC official gives the ballot paper to you, he will stamp the back with the EC's certified validation stamp to make it official. If your ballot paper does not have a validation stamp, insist that it is validated. Apart from the validation stamp, your ballot paper should not have any other marks or imprints on it. Otherwise, it will be rejected. When you have checked your ballot paper, then you can move to the first voting screen to cast your ballot for the presidential candidate of your choice. Behind the voting screen, press your right thumb on the thumbprint pad provided, and then place your thumb in the box next to the photograph and symbol of only one candidate on the ballot paper. Be careful that your thumbprint does not overlap into another box. Otherwise, your ballot paper will be rejected. Wipe your fingers clean with the tissue provided to avoid making some other imprints that will cause your ballot paper to be rejected. Make sure to fold your ballot paper first vertically and then horizontally. Put your completed ballot paper into the box marked presidential. Next, you will proceed to the next table to be issued with the ballot paper for the parliamentary election. You will go through the same process as the presidential ballots and then cast your vote in the ballot box marked parliamentary. Leave the polling station immediately after voting or speak to the presiding officer if you have a problem. It is an offense to attempt to vote if you are not a registered voter, or if you attempt to vote in the name of another person, dead or alive. Offenders will be arrested and prosecuted. Remember, the 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections takes place on Wednesday, the 7th of December 2016, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Your vote is your power.
The people pay you Queen Dr. Papa go see the mind if I get too far. Yet I will try and show. Yes, sir. Yet I will try and show. I'll pay you for Nariye. I'll pay you for Nariye. Nebia. No supper. No supper. Obey them. No supper. No supper. Obey them. No supper. No supper. Obey them. Yes, sir. Yet I will try and show. I'm paying for Nariye. I'm paying for Nariye. Nebia. No supper. No supper.
Hey, Auntie Maggie. Ali papa bi a ekoso from no one. Ali papa bi a me koye. Ene hu bo sha akese. E na wo gina ha wa hya dwa. Sister ni o ma na yenko.
Se we dia yate abre. Mre bi etwam. Na masema werefo. Sa? Tie na me mma bedi mpo na ede.
Hey,
mami. Ene ba ya bro bom e kire ye se. Yen susu ni beti me gina ye na so aye bibi. E bibie de next e bibie crash. What's right and send you did jack, sir? Me pelvia was see a dear warrior.
Nasama me chrono shayfa.
Or bar penny, Dr. Mrs. Kunedu my Rollins. One on a meeting nature, dear rally. Obian Toma, Nana Kunedu my Rollins. One that toss me.
NDP, our nation, our future.
You're welcome back. Now to some business news. Christmas is just around the corner and many will go to the market to buy chicken. Mindful of this, live bird sellers in the country have been called upon to ensure that the safety of the birds is not compromised on the altar of profit making right from the farm gate to the market. The call was made by the Deputy Director of the Veterinary Services of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Anthony Akunzule, in Accra at the launch of the National Live Bird Sellers Association.
There are about 50 live birds markets around the Greater Accra region. These include Kaneshi, Malam, Kantamanto markets and other places. These markets have created jobs for over 5,000 people. To ensure that customers of the live birds industry get value for their money during the Christmas festivity, the National Live Bird Sellers Association has been launched in Accra. The aim of the program is to sensitize them to keep proper hygiene at where the live birds are slaughtered and dressed. The Deputy Director of the Veterinary Services of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Anthony Akunzule, indicated that the forum is to fill the gap that exists between the actors in the poultry chain to maximize profit.
It is through this type of business that you are able to take care of yourself, your wives, your children, by providing their basic needs, such as food, clothing, and paying school fees.
Some of the live bird sellers appealed to the government to come to their aid by reducing the importation of the frozen chicken.
Anyone who is in Ghana should buy what we grow in Ghana so that the production system to also go higher. Because many people in Ghana, they don't have job. So anyone who wanted to go into the business, if you real birds have people to buy them, you will also get some people to come and buy.
What we have proposed is the 40% cut of the foreign importation, so that we can, the local produce, the produced broilers or chicken may be sold in Ghana to the importers, and then they can maybe buy the 60%, and then we can build on from there. It will go a long way.
If we are consuming our own chicken, the youth will get work to do, because when they are producing more, that means we will also be buying more.
In Ghana, the demand for poultry products as a source of protein has increased steadily over the last 3 decades and is still growing. This demand is partly due to significant factors like increasing urban population growth rates, increasing average per capita income of urban dwellers, leading to better purchasing power, and increasing per capita meat consumption, triggered by a shift in eating patterns from home cooking to fast foods, with chicken as a preferred choice.
And still in business, Trade and Industry Minister Ekospio Gabra has met with partners in Ghana's industrial sector to review the country's Industrial Sector Support Program, ISSP. The intention is to come out with strategies to revive and develop Ghana's industrial potential.
In 2010, the government approved the Industrial Sector Support Program, ISSP. This was Ghana's long-term vision set out to achieve higher levels of GDP growth and job creation through increased domestic production and international trade. But to industry players, the policy, with a fund of 1 billion Ghana cedis, has not been implemented satisfactorily. So the Trade Minister has met with players in the industry to review the program and ensure that it is factored into the country's new planning horizon and implemented accordingly. Mr. Ekospio Gabra said the educational system must see a reform to develop innovative and creative people.
Our educational system and the content of our education must be radically improved or changed over the next 10-20 years, so that whatever we decide to do with our industrial policy gets ingrained in the minds of 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds, and then they can also become more innovative.
He also urged entrepreneurs to diversify their investment away from trading.
People have to set up their own businesses, and as much as possible, those businesses should not be just buying and selling. They should be transforming our economy, transforming our natural resources. Agro and minerals, the two are the most fundamental resources that we want to transform.
The president of the Association of Ghana Industries, James J, said the review of the industrial policy will enable Ghanaian industries to outweigh competition from foreign industries.
What we're looking forward to is to be able to grow local industries, build capacities of local businesses so that we can compete favorably with probably businesses also in the sub-region or on the continent.
The policy is also expected to have a far-reaching impact for incorporation into the 40-year National Development Plan.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Coming up next is My Journey with Della.
Hello, good evening. It is My Journey on GBC24 and GTV. My name is Della Gidi. Now, almost everything under the Ghanaian sun is available for sale at Kantamanto in Accra's Central Business District. Ruminants, used clothes, cosmetics, utensils, and paint. The list is endless. But did you know that the weekend comes alive with variety of sporting activity at Kantamanto? From playing cards to drought and football, probably going by the adage, all work and no play, they must let off some steam after a week of hard work. Right in the heart of Kantamanto, some polio survivors have discovered a calling, and they say this has a huge influence on their lives. They are called the Rolling Rocket. ability is no inability. Well, viewers, this is all time would allow us on today's edition of My Journey. News Hour continues. Have a wonderful evening.
Rally papa bi amekoye ene hu bo sha akese ena odina ha wa hye dwa sister nioma na yenko
se we dia yate abre mre bi etwam na masema awerefo
sa
tie na me mma bedi mpo na ede mami ene pa ya brobom ekire ye se yensusu ni beti me gira ye na so aye bibi e bie de next ye be crash what try se ni ye di dwa sa me pe obi a wo si ade a wo yo
na sa ma me kro no hye fa
oba penny Dr. Mrs. Kunedu Ajima Rollins wonu na medi neche na de rally obia ntoma na na Kunedu Ajima Rollins wonu na toso mienu.
NDP, our nation, our future.
Careful about is that we must look for somebody who will continue to hold the party together. We mustn't go in for anybody who will divide us. So anybody who is always full of tension and fighting and that sort of thing, we have to be careful about.
Mommy, who is this man? Is he a prophet?
No, that's President Kufuor, the former president of Ghana.
What he said is exactly what is happening in the NPP. Under the leadership of Opana, there is warmongering, divisiveness, intolerance, acid bath, and so on.
You are right, my daughter. That is why I suggest we vote for a unifier, God-fearing, tried and tested person who has foresight.
I see.
Vote for John Mahama. Vote for NDC. NDC, changing lives, transforming Ghana.
Welcome to the international segment. Authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo blocked an opposition demonstration in the capital on Saturday aimed at putting pressure on President Joseph Kabila to step down next month at the end of his mandate. The rally was banned and security forces maintained a heavy presence. They also...
We'll take a quick break here and return with sports.
Elections are everything but dull. The rallies are and exhilarating. Radio and TV shows are exciting and we speak our minds with clarity. Politicians make promises with certainty. But we must keep our eyes on the bigger picture. As we gather to discuss issues of concern during the 2016 elections campaign season, we must speak to those we disagree with in a tolerant and respectful manner. And when the day comes, let's go to our local polling stations, join the queues, wait our turn, and vote peacefully for our preferred candidate. And when the dust settles, Ghana must be the only winner. As citizens, this responsibility to our country is sacred. Shun violence, vote in peace, love Ghana.
In sports news, the chairman of Galka, Kujo Fianu, says he is happy at the level of competition displayed so far in the competition. He is, however, positive that more fans will turn up for the remaining matches.
safe halfway the half of the opponent.
6 teams are battling for honors in this year's Galka pre-season tournament, the G6. The teams are Hatsufolk, Wild Stars, Aduana Stars, Mediama SC, Asante Kotoko and Bechim United. League champions Wild Stars, MTN FA Cup winners Bechim United, and defending champions Kotoko have been drawn in Group A, with Hatsufolk, Aduana Stars and Mediama SC going to Group B. Already 2 matches have been played, with Kotoko, Bechim, Aduana Stars all recording wins. League champions Wild Stars and Hatsufolk are yet to pick wins in the competition. With 4 matches remaining, the chairman of Galka, Kujo Fianu, says he's happy at the quality of play.
You see, we are playing this tournament at a time we have these World Cup qualifiers. We are playing at a time the EPL is in top gear. But what is more important is that the competition is being played. And I don't know what you mean by low patronage. If I tell you what we are making from the gates, we played in Sunyani and we grossed on a Saturday, we grossed 11,000 Ghana cedis, which I will say that I wasn't even getting when I was playing league matches in Obuasi. We clocked close to 20,000 Ghana cedis when Kotoko played Beche on a Monday. So I don't know what you're talking about when it comes to patronage. We will have loved to have full stands, but we are not getting that. Don't forget the wait and see attitude. We want to see what the teams are made up of. But now that we are seeing that high level of competitiveness, we are okay.
The Galka boss had this to say about the pitches being used for the competition.
This is what we have. I watched a game, I watched a World Cup qualifier in one of the North American countries, and was asking whether I wasn't watching the game in Ghana. Let us encourage clubs to give up the best. Sunyani had not watched a Premier Division League for a very long time, and we need to give them that due. Having 2 clubs from Brongahafo, there's a need for us to let Brongahafo also have a feel of the G6. Yeah, it wasn't the best of pitches, but there are worse pitches, even in the Premiership.
The winner of the competition will be given a cash prize of 50,000 Ghana cedis.
Or simply in La La Land.
Now, Emmanuel Tego's world title bout against Argentine opponent Fernando David Saucedo has been rescheduled to December the 2nd. The much anticipated bout was initially scheduled for November 25 at the newly built Bukum Boxing Arena in Accra.
The much anticipated world title bout between Ghana's Emmanuel Tego and Argentine's opponent Fernando David Saucedo was set for November 25 this year at the newly built Bukum Boxing Arena in Accra. In the early hours of Friday, Saucedo's camp sent a communique asking for a rescheduling of the bout due to a shoulder injury and therefore request for an extra 7 days for recovery. The organizers of the bout, the Baby Jet Promotion, says they have accepted to accommodate the time for the Argentine to recover fully. They have thus apologized to all stakeholders for the hitch, saying there is a clause in the contract which covers injury prior to the bout, and that is the reason they have postponed the bout. Promoter Sami Nimado has, however, promised that the Baby Jet Promotions will give boxing fans total entertainment come December 2.
Now we do some entertainment news. As part of activities to mark this year's World Toilet Day, an arts exhibition on open defecation has been launched in Ashaiman. The show, organized by Alliance Francaise, Accra and UNICEF, is to use artworks as a medium to educate communities on sanitation and other health-related issues.
2014 Demographic Health Survey indicates over 5 million Ghanaians defecate in the open. Ashaiman has been identified as one of the towns with the highest record in the practice of open defecation. To commemorate this year's World Toilet Day, Alliance Francaise, in partnership with UNICEF, organized an art exhibition on open defecation to educate the community on its effects and the need for every household to own a decent toilet. 21 artists were selected in craft works using sculptures, painting, graffiti, theatre and other various arts on open defecation.
This is a beautiful city of Accra, and I find myself, and this is what's happening, people using it as public spaces.
Life is really simple to the extent that what we give out, we get back. If you give out good, you get it back. If you give out bad, you get it back.
My work here calls on some of the most prominent religious leaders to not only speak actively about the spiritual well-being of their congregation, but also issues affecting their natural environment.
What the artist is trying to depict is even cats as animals don't like to leave their feces in the open. They like to cover it. And so it's up to us as human beings to learn something from these animals.
The chief of WASH UNICEF, Mr. David Duncan, noted that open defecation is becoming a force to reckon with and called on stakeholders to take adequate measures to address the problem.
Over the last 25 years, we've seen virtually no change. If we continue at the same rate of progress that we've seen over the last 25 years, it will take another 500 years before Ghana is open defecation free.
We are supporting 50% of every toilet construction in every home. Please come to the assembly, we'll assess it and we'll see what you need, whether a digester, whether a standalone, whether you need only something small to push you have a decent toilet.
The exhibition exercise is to be held in other communities in Accra to sensitize them on the effect of open defecation and the need to own a decent place of convenience.
Still in the arts, IAE 2016 is an annual praise encounter organized by the Bethel Methodist Church at Kokomlemle. IAE is aimed at bringing all Christian youth in Accra together under one umbrella to praise and worship God. Here are highlights of an earlier interview with the organizers.
This is a program led by the Bethel Youth Fellowship and with all the support from the church. So coming Sunday, in which we are seeing all routes lead to Bethel Methodist Church, Kukumemle, the whole church is joining with the young people to praise and worship the Lord. It's a kind of calling the church to remember to worship and praise the Lord in songs.
We are inviting people to come, especially Mama Christie.
So do we have to pay monies?
No.
And that wraps up the bulletin tonight. We are most grateful for your time.
We'll be back at 10:30 with this week.